federal monies that was from the pandemic. It's like $1,000. So you go on to like TurboTax. Have you ever done your own taxes? I haven't either. So I think you go into turbotax.com. No, I remember as I was asking you guys, am I the only one excited about $1,000? Right.
Oh, there was no tuition on me. Yes, please.
So if you file this, you might get it sent to your direct deposit account. Like they'll either directly deposit it or mail you a check.
Did you have to work last year?
The person who was here on Tuesday said no.
Okay, what did you say? You said TurboTax?
Yeah, and then the free refund on there. So, was anybody else here to hear that, or was I hearing things? Were you here? I feel like you were here. Do you remember it, or were you like? She's like, you get $1,000 from the refund.
Crazy.
Huh? I don't think you were here Tuesday. It was. Were you here Tuesday? Do you remember her talking about it? That's all right. So if you file your taxes like on TurboTax, even if you didn't work, you get the pandemic refund of $1,000.
How do you do that?
Somebody said over there.
Right. You're saying, how do you file your taxes?
Yes.
Well, some people pay a preparer, which kind of sucks, but I guess if it's $1,000, they only take 200 of it. So you could pay somebody, or you could go to like their free site. So let's say you do the one online, and this is your policy money anyway. You create an account, so you either use your cell phone or an email. So let's just make me up, even though my wife is taking care of our taxes. Usually they want you to have a password. Shoot. I don't even know if I guess I already had an account. That's kind of funny. So yeah, then when you create your account, they sent me a code 154055. I'm just trying to get you guys $1,000. If it fails, I apologize. Dear Lord, they're sending another verification code. So yeah, on the free TurboTax website, 658-194. Has anyone else done TurboTax or done your taxes before? I've never done my own. I'm not going to lie. I've always paid somebody because I'm not that smart. Yeah, so you would move forward from there and then just type in all your information. Like if you made any money, if you, where your wages were from, and if there was nothing, you probably just put zeros all the way across. And then they'll be happy with you. I never realized how much stuff that you could get just by filing your taxes, even if you didn't make any money. So any questions about like if you guys wanted to rewrite your paper for APA style stuff? Like I was offering that on Tuesday because I have 90 of those with the 100 some students. If you don't think you had done the APA perfectly properly, you are welcome to get in there and write it up yourself. And we're finishing chapter 8. And that's why we were talking about the money. So, like, benefits and social policy can come to you either in the form of cash, money, or resources like food stamps. So, when you're talking about wealth, property and assets that have marked value and can be exchanged for money or goods. So, what would you guys consider wealth? What do you have that you are willing to share about? You don't have to say it, but that, like, you consider as wealth. What's that? Even if it is just money. I mean, money is a form. It's usually just like a holding power. Like, it stores it for you. How about your high school degrees? You know, you hold that, like you got a piece of paper, you got the diploma or a general equivalency diploma. So you have that, which some places do require you to make income. You know, they'll be like, you can work here if you have a GED or a high school diploma. So that's another asset. It also is properties. You get do they still give you little diploma books that like you can set up on your shelf that look, okay. I didn't know if they were getting cheap. Like the Social Work License Board makes us print our own now. They used to send you like a license in the mail. Now you got to print your own. So that's an asset. Education, knowledge, skills. Like one of the things I picked up working at St. Louis Food Pantry was like gardening. I never thought I would farm or garden. And strangely enough, I learned that. So like starting your seeds right now to grow some food. Money, obviously. So like green paper money, but that only lasts so long with inflation and whatnot. Market value. Anybody have Bitcoins? You guys heard of them Bitcoins before? I bought one when it was way too late. So they're worth $54,000 right now, but I bought $10 worth like last month. So I have like 0.00001 of a Bitcoin. So that's supposed to be like a way to store your wealth. It's supposed to be able to transfer over to other countries. Oh, I'm sorry, they're only $48,000 now. So, but you can buy a percentage of a Bitcoin. Like right now, I think I have $7 in that one. There's also Litecoin, Ethereum, and like Bitcoin Cash and whatnot. So it's just like another way of storing wealth that people use. Coinbase. So if you wanted to buy a Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, this is where you would do it. I think you have to claim it on TurboTax. So you go onto Coinbase and you can buy a Bitcoin. They let you trade stuff on eBay with it too and buy things. So that's another form of wealth. Anything else that I'm missing that you guys have, or like family heirlooms, cash, money, houses, cars, wealth, resources. I'm going to find you the little Bitcoin thing that you have. You guys have a PayPal app. You ever use those to like pay stuff? All right, so they've added the ability to buy cryptocurrency on these. So out of boredom, I bought $1 of every cryptocurrency. It allows you to buy and sell them online. What other apps do you guys use to send money? Like if you buy food or like, so does that one let you, like, how does that work?
No, you only can send and receive.
Okay, Is it like PayPal?
They-
Okay, so it's like the same thing as PayPal. Oh crap, I only have $3.50 of Bitcoin because I bought something else. So yeah, if you go onto PayPal, you're able to buy, you can store your wealth in different things. I still like having, they say have it diversified, like have things spread out. Even a bicycle, if you ever use it for transportation. How's the Cash App work? Now you've got me curious. Do you sign up on your phone or can you sign up like right in here?
I think you can do it on there.
Because I remember seeing all this stuff. You get $700 on the Cash App. Were those like a bunch of frauds? Because like who would give you just, yeah, you know what I'm talking about? What was that? What was the deal with that? I saw it like all summer. It'd be like, just get the Cash App and you'll get $700. I'm like, that's bullshit. Nobody's just going to give you $700. Can you get it online or do you have to get on your phone?
You gotta get on your phone.
You have to get on the phone for real? All right. Okay. I've never tried, but I am certainly open to, different opportunities. Probably because they want your thumbprint. Like that's kind of how they get it's like biometrics. And on the internet, you can't use biometrics. That makes sense. So does it let you store money too? Like, can you just throw $50 in there and hold it on there, or does it come straight from your bank?
You can store money on there.
Can you? Okay. But it's better just to like transfer it there when you got to pay somebody and then you transfer it out. Does it shoot over to those dudes that drive you all over? What do they call it? Uber? Can you pay Uber with it? Can you?
You can get a car from Cash App.
Oh, for real?
Mhm.
So you can buy almost anything with it. It's like, they just don't take it at like Kroger's.
If you got a car,
Okay. So they give you it's like either a debit
it's
or
a Cash App card. Yeah.
okay. So it's like a credit card. Do they charge you for using the service?
No, I need to take money out there, charge you. Like take it out the ATM.
Oh, it's like the ATM fees. So they're kind of like a bank. It sounds like they're essentially a bank of their own making. Interesting. It does look like they have Bitcoin though. Cash App is already the easiest way to send and receive money. We've made it easier to buy and sell Bitcoin straight from your Cash App. So like I said, I got bored and I bought $1 of each of them. And if you guys have heard of Bitcoin and those other ones, they went up in price. So like just by buying the dollar, it was like, I think I bought it in January and like February was $1.50. I was like, hell yeah, I made 50 cents. It's kind of exciting. That's another way to store wealth. Staying out of poverty. So now causes of rising inequality. So some of the factors that contribute to inequality. Anybody want to take a stab at what is inequality? How do you define inequality? I'm open to guesses. There's no wrong answer. You can say whatever you want. How do you guys define inequality? I could look up a dictionary definition for you if you want me to. Say we'll go right next to what is inequality. So on here, if you did say like a dictionary, this one is just difference in size, degree, circumstance, but I'm going more for like a philosophical definition. The relation between two expressions that are not equal. This is probably better. So social inequality is characterized by the existence of unequal opportunities or rewards for different social positions or statuses within a group or society. It contains structured and recurrent patterns of unequal distribution of goods, wealth, opportunity, rewards, and punishments. So one example too, like anybody remember like they raised a funk in Congress, you used to get more time for having crack cocaine instead of having just straight cocaine. You would get like 10 years for crack and you would only get 5 or 1 for coke. So that was like an unequal punishment, the way they're describing it here. Some of the factors that contribute to this, they say the technological revolution, globalization, public policy changes, a restructured workforce, even a shift from a goods producing industry to services, which is kind of what we've done in America. And I'll give you guys bonus points if you can name any goods producing industry that we have left around here in America, like anything we produce goods for. Like we used to make a ton of cars in Detroit. They still make some, right? They still have some like Ford up there, maybe GM. But we've shifted to services, which is like food, waiters, servers, delivery drivers, things of that nature. We used to produce like little trinkets, like we would make stuff out of steel. We would make cars. We would make, I think some factories in America make cell phones, so we still make some goods, but there's not many. Where do you guys think most of the goods are made in the world? I think you're right. India is trying to take a share of that because they're the largest democracy in the world. But right now, China, because it's a communist country, the government can kind of enforce how they want to. Thousands of these things are made over there because they make them for like, I don't even know how much. I know they don't make them for the price that we pay for them. Aren't phones stupid expensive nowadays? How much is a new phone if you guys have to buy a new phone now? What's the most expensive phone? Which one? Which one is?
12.
No, the iPhone 12. How much are those? Are they like hundreds or more like? Is it? Damn. See, I always get the free one, then it falls apart. So we were a goods producing country. We used to make cars. We used to make, gosh, I don't know why I'm blanking, but the US used to have so many industries. And even now, t-shirts we send overseas. We like have sweatshops in not just China, but El Salvador, I visited one, and Nicaragua. And we've just shifted to services, which is like a food service, a delivery service, a driving service, like even like clothes laundering service. And then, so what causes the inequality is now we have decreasing percentage of employees represented by unions. Anybody have a parent that works in a place that has a union still? I think we're the only one left. Central State has a teachers union. I don't know of too many other unions. There's like a car makers union, a steel workers union, hospital workers union. There's a few of those, but there's not many unions. What unions do is like help you bargain for your salary, help you bargain for the number of hours you work per week, kind of help you break down how you're going to spend your workday. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. That works. Other causes of rising inequality, the reasons for the increase in wealth inequality, measurement errors, inheritances. Anybody ever heard of someone getting an inheritance before? On TV or like in real life in person?
My friend's grandpa just died actually, and
Oh, so was it, I mean, it's sad when somebody dies, and then was she like, oh my gosh, I didn't know he had this much money?
I don't know. He broke it up between his kids, so her mom only got a portion of it, and she gave her part of it.
Okay. That's nice. Yes. So like when you get older, which might even just be if you're going to be in your 20s, you might even write a will in your 30s. And your will is, they say to make it whenever you get married or like in a union with somebody or have a kid. Because basically you have assets that you want to pass to either family or kids. And the one thing about, I guess that her grandpa didn't die in a nursing home then, or like at a, usually nursing homes make you give away all your stuff, like pay it down, like give it to the nursing home to pay for the services before you can enter and like spend down on Medicaid. So he must have passed away at home, I'm guessing. Okay, that's good, because there are some messed up things that like nursing homes will make you do, and like give all your, sell your house so you pay the nursing home, give away any money that you have so you can pay the nursing home. And they even track back if you like passed it on to some of your kids or like tried to give it away. So that's messed up. Some inheritances you hear of the celebrities, there could be millions of dollars. They call it old money. So it's money that's been in the family for a long time. And then individuals saving at different rates from their income. What do you think that statement means? If you were to read into individuals saving at a different rate than your income. Do they mean saving more money than your income or saving less money than what your income is? Like the saving. What's that?
I said it depends what they choose or.
Yeah. Like, are they spending more than they make, you're saying? Because nowadays it's easy to do that. You just get an extra credit card. You only make this much a year, but you got that credit card. I'll pay it next year. But then, the pandemic could happen or like layoffs and stuff. So yeah, you're right. It's sometimes it's hard to just budget appropriately and only spend. Like we try to spend only what we have in cash, besides the cars, student loans, and house. If we have the money available, then we'll buy it. But every place you go now, have you guys ever been offered credit cards? They'll be like, here, just finance it. You sign up for this credit card right here, especially when they're your age, because they want to get you guys fresh. Like you're young, you don't have debt yet. You don't have a lot of debt. So they're like, here, sign here on the dotted line. The problem with the credit cards is it's 16% interest. They'll be like, we'll give you $3,000. You can have it. You can go out and party. You can go down to the casino in Cincinnati and spend it all. But then it's 16% interest. So when you pay it back, you're paying more than 10% back of what you borrowed. If it's $3,000, you're paying $3,300. So watch out for credit cards. That's an unequal thing that's coming up. They say credit card debt is up to over $1 trillion in the United States. It's gotten pretty high. More, not as much as student loan debt. So the average American has 6,000 on a credit card. And that's like according to the Experian app. It's another free download app. The problem being, even if you just had to pay 1% interest on that, guess how much 1% interest is on $6,000? Any mathematicians in here? It's probably, that might be 10%, so it's close. It's like 60. I think it would be 60. But if they did 60 every month, then you're right. It would be 600 a year. So say they charge you, most credit cards are actually between 10 and 15%. So it would be 600 you got to pay. You borrow that $6,000, you have a good old time on opening day in Cincinnati next month, spend $6,000 at the hotel, but then they charge you interest on it. So that's kind of the problems. Banking, banksters in general cause inequality in America. And I know that I would get in big trouble for making that statement, but I will say it bold-faced to you guys. Banking is the reason we are all screwed and you have to find ways around it. And not like, do banks still charge you fees to keep your money in the bank? If it's less than like $500 or something, like do they still have free checking?
It depends on what bank you go to.
Okay, so like you
Yeah,
need,
accounts you got too.
so they have different accounts that you can sign up for. So which ones are still free? The credit unions?
Yeah.
So I know we switched my wife's account to the credit union when she quit her job to have the baby. They were like, if you don't either keep 500 in here or have a direct deposit every month of 500 or 1,000 or more, we charge you $10 a month. And we were like, F you. So the credit union lets you stay free. Is yours free? Which bank? Are you?
Sometimes they'll charge like a dormancy fee, though. It
Oh,
depends,
really?
Yeah.
So you
I
got
just
to,
know because my mom's the CEO of, FD, the federal,
FDIC?
no. Ohio Jobs and Family Service.
Oh, okay.
It's, credit
JFS.
union branch. Yeah.
Oh, they have one?
Mhm.
Okay. So they charge, but that's just like if it's dormant for 12 months and you don't
Yeah.
buy anything all year. Okay. So she still uses her account. She just, I mean, she's finishing her bachelor's, so she just got her student loans today. Did you guys get your student loans today? Why do they give them out today? Like, we used to get them at the beginning of the semester. Why do they wait till March to give you guys your money? Is it a freshman, sophomore, junior thing, or like they don't? I don't know if it like they wait until the second term started. Maybe it's because first term ended, like the first half of the semester. Then they have a second half of the semester, so they give you the money if you finished a class. What's the name of your bank? It's a free.
Bank of America.
So they really don't charge. You have to keep a certain amount in there. Really, and it's just called like their free checking.
I think, I don't know if I'm the college one or not.
Oh,
But
okay.
I had it since I was like 16.
Okay, that'll make sense. Actually, I think I got the Bank of America credit card when I was 16. So I've had credit cards for 27 years. So credit cards are okay if you pay it right when it's due. If you wait 30 days, you get the statement. If you wait, they charge you a late fee and interest. So that's kind of the issue with those. All right. Now, housing wealth. That's another thing. Anybody have parents here that own houses? So that's one thing that they kind of have done lately is like the cost of housing has gone up a lot. So I bet your parents get a lot of stuff in the mail like, here, take out a home equity line of credit. Right. I know you wouldn't know, but what they're trying to do is say they don't have a mortgage anymore. So they've lived there 15, 20, or 30 years. They've paid off their mortgage. What the banks then try to do is get a piece of that house. So like, here, borrow $20,000 from us, put your house on the line, just in case you don't pay, and you can have $25,000 right now at 2% interest. And it's usually okay, but again, in like a pandemic where everybody lost their jobs, they stopped paying on that loan, and now the bank takes a piece of your house. They got a lien on your mortgage. They got, and those reverse mortgages. They try to talk you into that. So the value of the home is minus the mortgage amount still owed. Do you guys know what the average mortgage or what people pay? We were talking rent last week. What do you think people pay for housing, like to own a piece of a mortgage? Because I don't know. I have no clue. So I do Ohio or America, the average mortgage payment. America. I bet you it's freaking expensive in America. Ohio is not too bad. So it's a little more than rent. The average mortgage payment is $1,275 a year, or a month, I'm sorry, which is $14,000 a year on a 30-year fixed mortgage, and then $1,700 a month on a 15-year fixed. Anybody know the difference between a 30-year and a 15-year? They're kind of telling you what it is in the name. 30 years means you pay, so you buy a $100,000 house, you got to pay $100,000 over 30 years. which I guess is like $3,000 a year or $300 a month. And then 15-year fixed mortgages, you got to pay $100,000 over 15 years. So that's why it's a little bit higher, but you get a better interest rate on that. More accurate measure is typical American spends on their mortgage would be $1,556. That's the normal mortgage payment in the United States. That looks about right. This is what I pay in Ohio. Actually, that's what I paid in Kentucky too. And inequality starts showing up when this number starts getting to like 30% or 40% of your income. When you've got to spend like almost a third of your income on housing, stuff gets messed up. When you got to spend 20% on food or 30% on food, stuff gets messed up. So usually on mortgages, so this shows you where the cheapest mortgage in America is. Would you have guessed which state that was? The darkest green. The most expensive mortgages are in the red states. So they're like $2,000–$3,000 a month in California. And well, $1,600 on that one. So that's not too bad. Here's the lowest, and I bet Ohio's in here. Yeah. So these are the lowest 3 mortgage places in America. Lowest 10. Anybody from Indiana? It's pretty affordable to live there. I'm impressed. I'm tempted to move to Indiana. Because we've got, you guys are almost $100 less than we are. That's impressive. Anybody from any of those other states? Was Illinois in the most expensive ones? No. So that's how much it costs and the percentage of your income. So that's kind of how you check for inequality. Those are different ways that they show up. The first house that I bought it on a student loan. I don't think that you're supposed to do that, but I did it anyways. I didn't have any money. I was a graduate student and I was poor. And I got a scholarship, so UC was free, and I got $20,000 in student loans. So you're allowed to put $10,000 down on a $100,000 house, and then they had me pay. It was about that much every month in Kentucky, as I went to the University of Kentucky. I got 2 roommates who paid $310 a piece, and I was able to pay my mortgage. So I had to create a side hustle out of nothing, which was a student loan. Crazy. So usually your housing is the largest share of household wealth. So what you owe on your house, and this one's hard to explain. Not sure if you guys are totally getting it, but anybody know what the average housing price is now? Average home sale? Home cost. Should we do Ohio or America or Dayton? I'm going to go with America. I feel like the average home cost is $340,000. So if you're going to buy a house anywhere in America, all average together, it's $340,000. But if you were to buy a house in Ohio, anybody want to take a guess before I hit enter? What is the average house cost in Ohio? I know what it was. My first house I bought in Kentucky, it was $112,000. Then I bought a house in Kennedy Heights, Cincinnati. It was $155,000. And I sold that one 2 years later for $209,000. It was so dumb. And I had to buy one for $206,000. So I'm guessing in Ohio, it's going to be like right around there. In 2020, it was 150 in Columbus. Have you guys seen how much houses are around here in Xenia? They're like 50. I don't know why. It's just like really depressed. So there's your average Ohio home value, 168,000. And buying a house, a lot of people make that decision based off of, so say you were paying, does anybody in here pay rent? I know I've asked this before. Are you renting anywhere? Or are you all in the dorms? How much is the dorms? Maybe that's a good place to start. Any guess how much you pay to stay in those dorms?
Over 2,000 a semester.
So 2,000 for 3 months and 3 weeks and 3 days and 3 hours.
2,230.
And it's maybe 4 months, and they tell you to get the hell out at the end, like, get out. So 2,200 divided by 4, is that almost 600 a month? 550. Does that include food? That no, the 2,200 includes food.
Yeah, room board is separate. We have our own separate like meal plan stuff.
So how much are the meal plans?
Over $2,000 as well.
So so it's 4,400 to get housing and food. Is that how much it is?
Board.
What'd you say?
It's all in room and board, yeah.
Room and board is food too, right?
So 4,400. About. Is it all you can eat
Tuition
food?
like 6,000. The tuition's like 6,000, so it gotta be like at least 3,000 for the food and board and whatnot.
And is it all you can eat, or they kind of like limit what you get at the calf?
Maybe 3 meals a day, but nobody cooks breakfast for it.
And do they let you get whatever you want
Yeah.
and carry that shit out when you're done, like a
But
big
you
box?
can eat it
Really? Okay. Because I know they had one called carte blanche. How much?
there. It's nasty.
Oh, it's like slop.
Yeah, basically.
They're just like, it's like the prison movies are like, want some?
No,
They got some stir fries. I think I've eaten there twice. Because like,
Nasty.
do they have anything healthy?
Salad.
That's it. Everything else is
Yeah,
fried?
we having salads and little cups. That's it.
really. So going off of that, you're paying like 600 a month to stay here. So say rent at the dorms is 600 a month. You get a nice place in Xenia for 600 a month. But they probably make you live on campus, right? Is that part of the deal? Like first year, you have to live on campus, or no?
Got to.
Some colleges make you, like Miami University, you have got to live on, and that's how they make their damn money. It's kind of annoying.
I'm pretty sure they base it off of grades and credit hours.
Okay, if you have better grades, you're better off.
Mhm.
Okay, so 600 a month, and you saw what the average mortgage payment in Ohio was. So you could own a house. There it is. Problem with this number is it doesn't include homeowners insurance, which is about another 150, and it doesn't include your homeowner's taxes, which is about another 150. Because my mortgage is that, but I pay 1059. So that sounds, and houses have gotten stupid in the past 3 years. Like housing, it is the definition of inequality. Like the way that housing is, it went up 10% this year. I mean, that right there should tell you something's up in this economy. Like houses are 168,000. That means they were 17,000 less to buy it just a year ago. So if I bought a house a year ago for 17,000 less, I could sell it and flip it for money. That's crazy. Whoa, I didn't mean to do that. So yeah, if you're looking for houses, here's what housing prices have done. If you just bought a house from when you guys were starting high school, it would have only been about $127,000. And then when you are now middle of college, it's $160,000. So that again is just, if rent went that fast up, people would be like protesting in the streets. And it is getting high fast, but I wonder if it lets me go out any further. Oh, they're only doing that. I don't think they don't want to show the housing crash. This is funny. You can tell that Zillow sells houses for a living because like if this line continues back to when I bought my first house, it looks like this. They show the crashes, housing prices kind of go like this. But this website sells homes, so they don't want to see you that your house price will crash by freaking 50%. Like next year, it might crash by 50%. So you just don't know. If you wanted to buy like a condo, they're a little less expensive, but still expensive. So a lot of people hold their wealth inside of their home because you've got a paid off house. The house that my parents bought in Kennedy Heights in 1971 was $21,000. My dad also bought a car that year for like $1,500, and his income was like either $5,000 or $7,000 a year in 1971. Then we had massive inflation all throughout the 70s. So by 1980, the average income became $30,000. No idea how. And even today, average income's only at about $48,000. Average U.S. income is $48,000 a year. So underclass and the culture of poverty thesis, cultural view, poor persons have certain psychological and behavioral characteristics. So poor persons have certain psychological and behavioral characteristics. What do you guys think about that statement? And what characteristics do you think that they are? Does that mean they're lazy? I don't think so either, but that's a weird statement. Like, what do they mean? What are they trying to say? Like, are they defeatist personality? Are they... I'd like to know what the book means, as this is the book's PowerPoints. I don't know what they mean by cultural view is that poor persons have certain psychological and behavioral characteristics. I mean, I do know that they say trauma can pass like generationally. They're saying people that experienced the Auschwitz in Germany in 1945, like some of those genetic genomes are passed from grandmas to mom and dads to grandchildren and on. The structural perspective is you emphasize major economic and political systems that place various groups at risk. So some of the videos that we had been watching, I know that we were kind of cruising through this, and I really intended to show you like 10 more minutes of it today, because I think it is telling about what's going on, not just in the United States, but all over the world. I know we only have like 12 minutes left, but
Let to live on.
gotta get your commercial in. So this is kind of going over the points that we had today. I've got a job, but why am I still broke? This is a poverty documentary.
Yeah, we shot loads and loads, and I was tied down. It's a sign of times we're in. Sad. It is sad. That's sad, though.
The grim forecast in the budget suggests workers are facing 2 lost decades without any rise in average earnings. The most prolonged.
So that stat they just read off is what I just said. The average income in the 80s went up to about 30-some thousand a year. It's currently only at about 40-some thousand a year, and we're in the year 2021. So like average earnings have just kind of flatlined.
Pressure on family incomes more than 60 years. We're going to see incomes cut by about £800 on average for the poorest third of households.
The government says we want to build an economy that works for everyone.
Oh, thanks. Couldn't have filled my glass anymore, could you?
I feel like in 2 trips.
I've done the lottery tonight. 155 million. Oh, what would I do with it if you won? We could build a kibbutz. We could build a little village and we could have all our people all together. Would your father and your brothers there? And that's stable. Good year.
See, we wouldn't need at all, but would we there?
No, but I think we'd have a nice home somewhere else as well. That would be nice.
Yeah, rather than have to go to work.
We wouldn't have to go to work.
Ross was born 8 doors down on the same street he lives on now. After he left school, he did a bit of scaffolding and was briefly a jet ski instructor.
When I was growing up, we didn't have much. Me and my brothers used to watch the wrestling on TV. And we always said that when we grow up, we're going to be wrestlers. We're going to be top superstars.
For the last year or so, Ross has been taking his 2 eldest children training every Sunday at the Royal Imperial Wrestling Club.
My name.
Amy and Kellen can't enter a pro fight until they're 16, but Ross is ready to step into the ring.
You know, Big Sean, you're going to debut. It's going to be a tag match. It's going to be me and you. You're going to get the squad.
They're both big guys in that squad, isn't it?
Yeah, but even though you're like a small man, you're still extremely strong. And that's what I want to get out to the crowd. Like, even though Kurt is a big guy, you can give us good checks, I think.
He was 6'6".
Yeah, he's like 6'6", 6'7". He's a beast.
He is a beast. It's my first proper wrestling match. And all my family are going to be there. So it's a big deal. I don't want to cock it up. I gotta be the man, and I gotta be the hero. I haven't got the best of education, I suppose. I can't just walk them into a job and there you are, that's your job. So all I can do is just teach them how to fight.
There's always been people who have struggled to make ends meet. But these days, even some of those who thought they had made it are living on the edge.
Well, I have what's commonly known as a portfolio career. So I came up to London to be a bank, and then photography. And then I raised £1.5 million to launch an internet logistics business based on the courier industry. That lasted about 4 years. And it came really, really close once or twice to really suddenly taking off. In which case life would have been a bit of a different story. You know, I've fallen off the high bees, baby. There's no mistake in that. But at least I've landed in a Mercedes. So it's not the end of the world, is it? Good morning.
Mark has no savings or pension.
So the Mercedes, we were saying this in the last class, is a local car in Europe because they're made in Germany. They're kind of like the Ford or the Chevy of America. They're still good cars, but they're not as expensive because they're not imported from Germany to America. They're made right there in Europe. So he's an Uber driver in a Mercedes to make ends meet.
He's been driving for Uber for nearly 3 years. They take 25% of his earnings, so he needs to make at least £800 a week to cover his costs, pay his rent, and put food on the table for his family.
As soon as I got into it,
And then 800 pounds is around $1,000 or $1,500, depending on the conversion rate at the time. So that's what they're saying is Uber. Anybody an Uber driver around here? Do they take a quarter of your pay? I don't know if it's the same as here over there, but it sounds like they take 25% of his money, and that's why he has to work a couple jobs.
doing it double shift 7 days a week. Because we were in such doo-doo financially, literally. I mean, I was on the edge of losing a flat. I rent my place and don't own it.
A flat is a house. I know it's hard to understand these people, but they call houses flats in Europe. So he was about to lose his house, is what he said.
You know, all the bills were backed up. It was just, I was waking up at 4:30 in a sweat. So Uber was a massive relief for me. If you're prepared to throw your life at it, you can make the money you need to make. I'm just another player in the gig economy. And it's hand to mouth on a month-to-month basis. Hello. Okay, we're going Heathrow T2. I drove these two great big Aussie blokes. They were both pretty pissed. The young one, he was huge. And he interrupted my conversation by saying, yeah, Mark, that's all very well, but what I really want to do is get my phone to suck your cock. I went, oh, really? Oh, right. Because that's not in the training video at Uber Towers, that one. I was like, first of all, I said, very flattered. Thank you very much. Not really my thing, you know. I said, I've got a wife and kids. So have I, mate. I've made 65 quid today. And that just is not enough. So I'll probably have to work Friday night trial and Sunday to try and make that up. Bye-bye.
For over 20 years, Mark has lived in a housing association flat with his partner, Mimi. It's not often the whole family get together now the eldest three have full-time jobs. Only Gabe is still living at home while he studies to be a pilot. But Mark is worried that even if Gabe passes selection, he can't manage to finance the training fees.
Marky, beer or wine?
Oh, mine.
That one's open.
Can we go?
Yes, go.
I love
Having
that.
them all here, it's a rare occurrence these days. They're all rounded up. They enjoy each other's company. When they all arrived, they were all in the boys' room, just gaming and chatting, and I eavesdropped a little bit. And they just get on so well, and I'm, you know, proud of them. Lovely. Having them all.
You're not going to see him off?
There have been a lot of hard times over the years. I've always done little bits and bobs, not really had a career as such, and he's had these stops and starts of income. And we've never had savings, we've never had big holidays, but we eat well, and we muddle along in quite an old-fashioned way.
It happens twice now.
Mark will soon have to decide whether to pay £600 to stay with Uber for another 3 years. But even if he does carry on driving, he could still lose everything.
Could you imagine how hard it is to keep your license when you're driving 60 hours a week? Everywhere there's cameras and flashes. If you get 4 flashes in 3 years, that's 12 points. 12.
So anybody live in a city where they take pictures of you running a red light? You have those. Which city is that again?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. So that's what he's saying. If you drove 60 hours a week, you're bound to get your picture taken and lose your license. Like, that's kind of the hard part of the gig economy and keeping up with paying even the gas. Just the gas is expensive.
12 points are off the road. When you get a flash when you're driving, it's not because you're, you know, being dick dastardly and you think, I'm going to get away with it. It's because you make a slip. You know, if things go wrong for me, it puts me one step closer to getting out of a job. Not having a job probably means not having a home. The only way we cope with the future is by not thinking about it. If I thought about it, I'd just give up.
All I've had today is 5 packets of salt and vinegar crisps at work. You know, I didn't have one of sandwiches or anything, so pound for 6 bags of salt and vinegar crisps got me through the day. You just have to get by then, as long as you eat, that's all that matters. Get some food inside you and crack on with it. We got the Heinz spaghetti, just one meal. Beans on toast, that's another meal. If you've got £5, you get as much as you can for £5. You know, they're quite extravagant with that Heinz.
Steve used to work as a caretaker at the local football club. He only earned £9,000 a year, but was able to get by because his boss gave him a discount on the rent for a caravan. So when a couple of businessmen from out of town bought the club, Steve didn't just lose his job, he also lost his home.
That's mine, right down the back under the trees there, that's where I lived. Right, yeah, look, through the gap, that one there. That's where me and Billy lived, in there. I loved it down there, absolutely loved it down there.
So we're back to the dude they started the documentary with that lives out of a tent but still works full time. Kind of the point of this, I've got a job, but why am I still broke? And, you know, to give a bit of a breakdown of that, I'll do a bit of the, so here, when the coronavirus hit, they had us all take a 5% salary cut. So might not sound like a lot, but I think it dropped the take home from like 2,300 something a month, we get paid once a month, to like 2,200 a month. And like I had mentioned, the mortgage is $765, insurance is $150, plus the you know, gas, electric, water. I think gas was $300 last month because it was so cold. And then the cars, I think it's the cars that are killing us, but it's also when you're upside down in a car, what do? I think one of the car payments is like $480. That's because we wanted a bigger SUV. It's just the cheap little RAV4. And then the other car is a Honda Clarity, and it's like $350. So after all the bills, and we've got 22 take home, $2,200 a month, or say if you did it bi-weekly, $1,100, which is like $550 a week. We kind of wrote up a budget and saw that when I didn't get a summer class, so the summer class is where you can kind of get your bonuses. Every summer class you teach, you get like 9%, which is nice. But last year there was no summer classes. And that's when I picked up Crossroads Hospice, so sitting on the weekends at a hospice, and then also the private practice, so seeing folks at the private practice, which, you know, on an average could be like $25 to $35 an hour at the private practice, but you only see 5 or 8 a week. So without the private practice, you know, I had to add an extra job in the summer just to pay. So it was probably $2,100 in bills. Take home from Central State was $2,200 a month. So you got $100 to play with for food. And one other thing that they did was they put these on hold. I don't know if you guys knew this, but they put federal student loans on hold. So when I got my graduate degrees, that's what kind of blew it up. You know, like I think, well, I borrowed $250,000, but then I only owed $291 with interest now. So it was like, I think my payments are $200 a month. So it'll say like your next payment. And so luckily, another one of the pandemic policies that helped us all out was this, where all of the loans in the past, say 2 years, it was $200 a month. And so, yeah, I was paying $232 a month, but then when the university shut down, they stopped our payments. So that right there was a lifesaver. But you ever try to pay off $250,000 at $232 a month? Anybody know how long that would take? $250 or $230 times 12 is like about $2,000 a year, but to pay $250,000, you know, it can take a while. The other issue is interest. So with interest now, that's kind of what they have gotten up to. I think there's already $40,000 in interest. So it's $292. So hopefully, you know, they say if you teach at a public university, it will be forgiven, even if it's UC, Central State, Miami, or any of the public universities. And you pay 10% of your income for 10 years, 10 to 15% of your income for 10 years. and then they forgive it. So the pandemic, definitely has thrown a kink in things, but the good policy that kind of came from it was putting student loans on hold. The last payment I made was April. They wanted us to start paying again this month, but then Biden extended that until November. So, more of the story with student loans is just take out what you need, and that's it. I usually took out the most of it. Then next week we'll kind of get into just strategies for fighting poverty, different things that they do to fight poverty. With like housing assistance, food assistance, coronavirus relief bill, and then all of that. So that's all that I have for today. Finish you guys off early at 3:39. Less than an hour. Because we started a little bit